Good evening. Calling to order the Maplewood Park and Rec Commission, January meeting, January 15th, 2020. First item is roll call. We'll start.
Just checking, does everyone have their microphones on?
Make sure your mics are on.
It might just be me. I'm just having a little trouble hearing maybe.
Kimmy Porter.
Dorothy Molstead.
Terry Millette.
Nikki Villavicencio.
Thank you. Can I have approval of the agenda?
I approve.
Okay, we have an approval.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Looking at an approval of the minutes from our last meeting of December 18th.
I approve.
Thank you. Second?
I'll abstain.
Because you weren't here.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Our new business for tonight is goal setting for the 2020 Park and Rec Commission. You have in your packet our goals from last year, if you've had a chance to look over them. And I would,
Yep, and if I could have the computer too, we've got the goals to put up on the big screen as well. And then, Chair, members of the commission, I'll give a little background on what the goals are pertaining to. Just to let folks know that in compliance with Article 2, Section 2120 of the Maplewood City Ordinance, sounds fancy, but it's the ordinance that the Maplewood Parks and Recreation Commission is required to submit an annual commission report. In addition to this report, the Parks and Rec Commission will provide a list of 2020 goals to the City Council. So what you would be doing at this meeting tonight is talking about your goals, and I do have your goals from last year up. You've got it in your packet and up on the screen. And then just to talk about, you can have discussions of what goals went well, what we think we accomplished, what we still need to do, or you need to do, and what you feel is important. And we'll just kind of brainstorm a list of goals for 2020. We won't finalize it tonight, especially because some of the commissioners aren't here, but we'll just get the discussion going, and then we would finalize those at the February meeting along with the annual report. You'll get to see it at that time. And then after that, our chair will be taking the report to the City Council, most likely the first meeting in March. So with that, I'll turn it over to the commission and let you take it from here.
I've had an opportunity to review these. I see number 11 kind of jumps out at me, that I don't think we did that. One meeting dedicated to connectivity and trails. Did we do that and I wasn't here?
Chair, members of the commission, we did not have a meeting solely to talk about that. We did talk about at a couple of meetings, and then at our on our parks tour, and when we talked about cartograph, but not specifically just all about connectivity and trails.
When you say connectivity,
Can you further explain what you mean by connectivity?
Chair, members of the commission, I think when I was Commissioner Brannon that brought it up, and just talking about where there's missing trail connections or sidewalk, or like when there's developments in the city, like we just did the Frost Avenue street redo, and they added sidewalk and trail, and they're hoping that that will connect all the way up to White Bear Avenue, looking through our whole system to see where there's chunks of connections missing, where there's not a trail or a sidewalk, so that people can get around the city more easily, not just with cars, but with bikes and walking. And so that's what we mean by connecting areas that hopefully eventually there'll be a loop where you can get to all areas of the city and go through and not have to be on the road. So, yeah.
I would also like to add a goal for next year or something for consideration. I would like to see us work towards consistency in signage and identifying our parks. I think we have the opportunity to brand what our products are and make them more familiar as people move from one part of the city to the other. We're so widespread, And if you can be driving along and go, oh, that's a familiar looking sign, I want to check out that park. I also think we need to look at expanding the languages that we put on the signs, that we're not just speaking to our audiences in English, because that's not necessarily the first language of many of our residents.
Sure, and on a side note to that, Dorothy, or Chair and Commission, sorry, one way we've looked at doing that, just so you know, staff has looked at is, putting one language up or three, making the signs too cluttered, how do we do that? But we're thinking more of adding those qual codes or something to the signage where someone could, go with their smartphone, or providing information where they could go to a site to see signage in another language, because while we would love to put all of them, it's like, where do you stop once you start? Which languages do you include and not? And then if the signs become cluttered. So it's kind of trying to find that balance. So we're looking at maybe technology as a way to address those issues as well. So just letting you know that we've been having conversations as staff.
Okay. And maybe somehow we can have a goal that talks about signage and outreach, maybe through technology,
Okay.
to our
Would you
varied
want,
clientele.
maybe, I'm just trying to think of how to frame it,
Explore
inclusiveness through signage or
and technology. Yeah.
exploring.
Any other comments from commission members?
In regards to the signage,
Anything?
well, I'm focusing on goal number 3, offer special events at a variety of parks and make arts and culture a priority. I really like the part that says special events at a variety of parks. And as I was looking back on the concept plans for Harvest Park, that I realize that is a large park and can hold a lot of events, but I also feel like it would be nice to sort of spread the wealth and have other parks do some hosting of soccer events and things like that. I know there's a big park on McKnight and Lydia, and I do not remember the name of that one, but it is quite a large park. I remember my children playing soccer tournaments there. And so that could be a possibility for a park to host special events. And then I don't know how arts and culture could play into that, but I think that's kind of an exciting prospect to have things like that happening in a park, along with the sports events, obviously, but arts and culture would be also kind of exciting to see happening in activities in our parks, too.
Sure. So, Chair and Commissioners, with number 3, are we thinking maybe keep it, but instead of just having special events, add programming to it? So it's programs, not just one-off special events, but maybe doing recreation programming at a variety of the parks? Does that, I'm just trying to think of a way to
So
add to it.
looking back on 2019, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with events that occurred at parks that were arts and culture, but were there some events that happened?
Sure, and depending on, arts and culture is kind of a broad term, but we did like music in the barn at the Brunship Farm. We had movie nights
Okay.
there, and we had events down at Afton. We had them at Edgerton, and then at the community center, trying to spread them out across the city. So yeah, we did also neighborhood events where we would go to where there was high density residential like apartments, and we worked with public safety and took events to their apartment complexes too. So yeah, there was actually quite a lot of that. But what I'm hearing is maybe actual programs, maybe one arts and culture program we do is we have this painting class at the Wakefield building, but that's the first program that we've done where you can go to the Wakefield Community Building and take a painting class. So I don't know if you're thinking maybe actual programs at other parks if we can. I mean, we don't have a lot of buildings and sometimes weather's an issue, but just
So I guess it's just a matter of having the space that would make that appropriate, but I think that would be a nice goal to add on again for the year.
Would you like me to add the word programming in? I can, or do you leave it
Sure.
as is, or it's, okay.
Let's throw programming in.
Special events programming, I can, sure. Yeah, some of these goals actually were kept on from 2018 as well, because they were really solid goal. I mean, the commission did a great job of really thinking their goals out and had such good goals in 2018. A lot of them carried over. And it's okay to carry them over if they're still relevant and we haven't got to them, or there's something that's important. You can absolutely keep them.
Any other comments?
Number 9, the semi-annual updates to review the YMCA. I don't know that we did we do that really last year? And I think they should come and tell it. I mean, there's been a lot of changes there, and they've been awesome, and there's a lot of things available out there that I don't think as many people know. I don't think we have as many people going as we really should with as many things as they have changed. And there are some really great changes there, especially for the younger kids. And I don't know that everybody knows that. And I would be interested in knowing what's changed with the YMCA versus when the communities, it was a community center.
Sure.
Are memberships up? Are they down? I'm just kind of curious on
Sure.
that.
Good point.
Sorry, Nikki.
Oh, no, yeah.
Was that yours?
No, I'll still make a comment if that's okay, Chair. But yeah, I second that. I would like to see if we can get some more regular updates on the YMCA for that reason, and to know, like you said, know what's going on and how they've been doing, like how if they've been able to keep like their lifeguards. I know that was an issue way at the beginning. But also too, what was I going to say about the arts and culture? You know, we did the WOW events, you know, and I'd like to see more. You know, I was thinking, wouldn't it be awesome if we could even partner with like some of the church communities? Because I know there's a church community in Maplewood that does like a puppet show or whatever. They did it at the Laugh-In one year. Do you remember that, Audra?
Yeah.
And if we could do something like that at one of the parks or
Sure.
stuff like that. But yeah, I'm all for all of that. Obviously, I want to make sure we keep the bus tour on our goals. I think that's a really important goal to keep on our goals. And I always try to remember too that like they're just goals too. So if we don't accomplish them all, it's not like somebody's going to come over and smack our hand or anything. So, but
And I will say this commission, which I love, was very ambitious with their goals. A lot of commissions, we used to have like maybe 7 or 8 goals. We have 11, which is great to have. But like Nikki said, if we don't get to it, then it's something to put and maybe prioritize. If you've got a goal where you're like, I really, like, it sounds like the YMCA goal is a super important one to make happen. And I did make the ask, but I will definitely make the ask again. And I think they had a little bit of transition with things over there, but now it might be a good time to have someone come in and give us an update on all the great things that they're doing.
So I would like to address something I don't see on here. I know that when we went on a couple of visits to different facilities, we talked about having a relationship with a couple of the schools in Maplewood. So I'd like to maintain that relationship. I know that sometimes they offer different recreational things, and I think it's important that we include it in our set of goals in one of these. We don't have to make it a separate one, but just to let other communities know and let us know, we are willing to work with our schools as well as our churches, and maybe that can somehow fit in with the one that Nikki was talking about. But I'd like to see that connection with the schools that we work with be included as a stated goal.
Okay, so how would you like that worded? I'll let you guys, if you want to discuss, just so.
How would you like that worded?
I just like
Can we add not just the schools? Remember we had that one fella come from the Boy Scouts, and he was going to, did we ever do anything with that? He was going to make that one game for his Eagle Scout project.
Yes, he was still doing his fundraising, so, and then by the time things got in full swing, it got cold, so yes.
We still are working.
Yep.
So maybe schools and maybe scouts or
Scouts,
groups in the younger generation, something to get them involved.
Would this be, just throwing this out there, because I see what you're saying, because we do work with the schools and the Parks Department and the Recreation, but staying as a goal, something about getting, partnering with community organizations, schools, and getting updates from these groups when they come, maybe having them come, not show and tell, but come and give us updates on what they're doing, the things, trying to maybe get visitor presentations, something like that?
Yes, thank you.
And then one year we had the school come with and help Old Buckthorn. That was a few years ago, but that was a really fun event.
Yep, and we still do have that, so if you want more updates here on those kinds of things, like Century College just did a bunch of service projects with the Nature Center with our new Natural Resources Coordinator, so these are things the department is doing. I'm just trying to think of the commission, what the goals should say as far as what because, the commission's not actually doing those things, but it's what you consider important and a priority, so how you want that worded, I want to make sure I get it.
Now, the Nature Center is part of Park and Rec, and we don't mention them in our goals. And when we're talking about the updates from the YMCA, I know because they're doing their fundraising and the new master plan and everything.
Sure.
We have had input from them this year.
Oh, sure.
But
Yep.
maybe it needs to be somewhere in here that on an annual basis, we get a report from what they're doing.
Sure. And chair, members of the commission, we do have Ann comes once a year and does an update, and she did this year. So just because it's not in the goal doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but I think the goals can be a little like overreaching, but just having one goal where having, maybe including Nature Center, community organizations, groups coming and giving updates, that could be the goal itself, and that would cover all of those things, just to make it a little bit more of an umbrella goal, if that. Okay, I'll work on that wording and bring it back to you.
Even, the public safety, when you go out and do, having them feel that we're not just using them, but they're part of us, and we're working together on some of these activities in the community.
One other thing I was considering adding is we have several boards, commissions. I'd like to see us find a piece of connectivity between, I know that you will be presenting something to the council, but unless we do the bus tour, I've not seen these people before. And not that I'm trying to get in on what they're doing with their
Sure.
commission, but just something that connects us a little bit more. And I don't know if that means, Dorothy, bringing us back information from when you do a presentation, when you do go to those meetings, so that it kind of keeps us out of the silo.
Sure.
Tunnel vision. Any other thoughts or discussion? We can throw these things out. Audra can rework and
Sure.
massage and bring it back for us next month, and
Well, alongside of the Nature Center, we could also include like the Historical Society too, because they do a lot of events. Like for Christmas, for the first time, we went to the visit with Santa at the farm, and that was so fun. We got to have a full breakfast and then a meet with Santa and everything. And I just think it's good to make sure that we are connected with them and the events that they do, and
Sure.
not like you said, not that you don't already update
No,
us on
but
those,
I think that
like,
could fit under that,
Yeah.
that original goal of just getting updates from, I would say even user groups. We've got someone here that just joined Northeast United, the soccer organization, maybe having user groups, community organizations come and give us some updates on what they're doing and how they work with the city and how they are connected to our parks. I think it's a great idea.
I'd like to see us have more discussion on these. I think when we did the 2019 goals, we went through the 2018 goals as a group to see what had we accomplished, how do we check these off. And so I think that instead of us putting out the new goals, I'd also like to go through and say, how did we accomplish goal number 4 of meeting the needs of the aging population? I know we did it, but it's good to state it.
Yeah, Chair, members of the commission, that's honestly why I've got the goals from last year here that we're looking at right now, just to do that. So this is your time to do that. These are last year's goals. So we're doing the goals for 2020. So this is just what you guys had set for 2020, and then this is the perfect time to discuss how you think it went, and yes, once we get some ideas of what you think, for 2020, then in the February meeting, you absolutely will go over them again. It takes 2 meetings to go over it. This meeting to review the goals from this past year, and then looking ahead to 2020. So absolutely.
Audra, do we have a student coming on?
Chair, members of the commission, we had someone lined up, and I don't know if he got a little gun shy or life got too busy, but he decided not to do it at the last minute. So we don't currently have someone, but we're putting the word out again that we're looking for someone. Once I got the for sure that it's just not something that he wants to do, and Jack's going to stay at college. He's happy away in Duluth, so we'll be looking for another member, as long as that's a goal that the commission still wants to pursue. Then yeah, absolutely.
I'm wondering if we combined a few of these together to make it one goal, like 1, 6, and 8 almost seem like we could make that one, so we didn't have so many goals, and then we could add a few more.
Sure.
I don't know what you guys, I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
1, 6, and 8 are
6 and 8 are,
pretty much the same
So
thing.
combine those. I can do that.
And certainly that new software program that we were shown is going to help, I would think, with maintaining where we're at on the different ones, and that cool thing that I don't remember the name of. Any other discussion? Think about it till next month. Do we have any unfinished business? No? Visitor presentation?
Did you? Okay.
I would like to make a couple commissioner comments. One, I want to congratulate Nikki as the new bride. She went to Las Vegas and got married on New Year's Eve.
That's awesome. Congrats,
And
Nikki.
beautiful dress and the whole thing. She just, if you're friends with her on Facebook, you saw what was going on. It was pretty exciting. So congratulations.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
And then I spent the afternoon at the Nature Center. Because coming up on fur trade time, I think there's about 400 kids in the next couple of weeks that will be going through this event. They go out on snowshoes and they collect things in the woods. They learn how to build a fire, so there are fire starter kits being made. I drew circles on blue felt and cut little lines in them so that there can be pouches made. Somebody else was cutting cording. And then I unwrapped the new snowshoes that they are so excited about. They had snowshoe equipment, like 4 or 5 different kinds and every kind of different binding. And when you had a class coming in, trying to get everybody fitted and everything, it was just, and through the Friends of the Nature Center, and through cutting a good deal with a distributor and getting them wholesale, they were able to obtain the new snowshoes, and very excited about that. And I unwrapped, I think, about 7 boxes of these things. So there's lots of things going on at the Nature Center. They just had a workshop on making ice luminaries, some gorgeous ones with leaves inside of them, just really cool. And there's a luminary hike Friday night, which may or may not happen because of all the snow. So stay tuned for that. But a lot of things going on. There was probably 8 or 9 people in there working, chattering away. It was a very invigorating afternoon. So,
Well, Chair, if I can thank you on a personal from the Nature Center and the Parks and Recreation Department, because it's volunteers like yourself and all the others that make things like fur trade possible. It's a huge program. They serve so many schools and school children, and it couldn't happen without the volunteers. So we appreciate it. So thank you.
you're welcome. I'm looking forward to it. Staff presentations.
I have one more. I just
one more.
wanted to say that I attended the dance recital, and I haven't seen one for a long time at the community center, and it was awesome. It was very well done.
Great. Those little dancers they're adorable. They're awesome. Thanks.
Programming updates, Audra?
Yes. Give me 1 second. Computer's a little slow tonight, but we're... Before I get into the quick programming update, I did want to circle back about the community open house for the Harvest Park Master Plan. Like we had mentioned at our previous meeting, the open house for the community is Tuesday, January 21st. And Karen, I want to make sure, did you get your mailing?
Yes,
Okay,
I got my
good.
mailing.
Yep, because
Thank you.
we mailed out invitations to residents right around the park and a few extra, about 200 homes actually, just to really get a good sampling of residents there. And then this is open to everyone. It's open to every Maplewood resident, even if you're a user of Harvest Park. And Rushline BRT project staff will be there at the meeting as well, so they're going to be there. We'll be there. We're giving free Rooper floats to anyone who wants them, and then we will have the concept designs and the ones that Lydia brought to you at the last meeting. They've actually been tweaked through more community outreach and user groups and meeting with Rushline. So they'll look very similar to what you saw, but they'll be a little bit different, and they will be available just as a jumping off point at the meeting. But this is really a meeting where we want to get resident input. We want to hear your ideas, your thoughts, what you like about one or the other. It's not vote for your favorite concept. It's what do you like from this one? What do you like from that one? What would you like to see mixed together? We really are hoping for a great turnout because we want input, and we would definitely like as many of you from the commission to be there as well. So I'm hoping that you all can join us next Tuesday. And does anyone have any questions about the open house? The one thing I do want to stress is it was a little confusing. I didn't put the address of Harvest Park because I didn't want it to confuse people. We're meeting about Harvest Park, but it will actually be in the Wakefield Community Building. So you'll get to come take a tour if you have not been in the new building. You can take a tour of it, but I didn't think anyone would want to meet out in the park in the middle of January. So we're going to meet at the community building. The only thing cold, hopefully, will be the root beer floats. So, yeah.
Anything else to come before the commission?
Otherwise, I just have a few updates. I'll just go over the flyers that I included your packet really quick. One thing that I'm happy about, because it has been a little bit of a struggle getting the warming houses open, the park maintenance crew has worked really hard. You know, we had that long warm stretch, and then it got cold, but then when it got cold, we had all the snow, so they couldn't get out and make ice. So but we got the warming houses open now, so the rink at the brand new rink at Wakefield is open, and the others, and so we've got warming houses at Afton Heights. On the south end, we've got Four Seasons, Gethsemane, and Wakefield, and the hours are posted on the bottom as well. You can skate anytime, but when we have manned warming houses, these are our hours. And so any questions about that? And we posted this so people can see a map of, we try to have the warming houses spread out, through all of Maplewood and have at least some hours open. We have budget constraints. We'd like to have somebody there all the time, but we just have to be mindful of the budget when we keep it open. But again, people can come and skate anytime. Okay. And then another thing that's fun, this one I wanted to share, is we have ballroom dance. And it is happening right now, but there are 2 more sessions, but we have ballroom dance happening in the Wakefield Community Building. So in that big open space, they are doing the tango and the rumba and swing and foxtrot and the cha-cha. So if you're interested in signing up for dance classes, this is for adults. We've got another session coming up Thursdays in February, and then again in April, so kind of fun. And then just a couple of youth sports ones, just so we have volleyball clinics happening. So even though volleyball season is over, we have our clinic going, and I think this might be the old flyer that he put in the folder. We've got another session afterwards, but this gives you the idea that they're for ages 9 to 11 and 12 to 14. And maybe I'll bring the updated one, because this is January 7th, so I will maybe bring that one next time with the updated dates. Let's see, hopefully the soccer clinic one they put in is the right one. Yep. I guess it doesn't have the new dates on either. I think they thought maybe they were, but we have these soccer clinics just to give you an idea of things that we're doing at Carver Elementary, the community gym that we have in Carver School that we share. We do soccer clinics, and there's another one starting again at the end of February, but they're really nice because they start at age 4, go all the way up to age 12, and for $55, they're pretty reasonable. Some of these clinics are sometimes $200, and we try to keep it super affordable so someone can get a taste and idea of if they like soccer or not, and then join the league, and then maybe move on to a soccer club when they get a little more advanced. So just wanted to bring that along to let you know some of the things that they are doing. Any questions at all? Okay.
Then I think we may have set an all-time record.
I think so.
Can we have a motion for adjournment? Second? All in favor?
I
Aye.